Hi class. Today I'm going to be reading you a story called Nellie Mae Has Her Say. And we're going to work on two of our comprehension skills for this unit. The first one is I can make inferences while reading. And we've worked on this year, so you know this, but just as a reminder, this is when authors show, don't tell. So an example would be his eyes were watering. And what does that mean is happening? Right, he's crying. So authors like to give us clues and then we figure out what those clues mean. It just makes reading much more interesting than saying he was crying. So our second skill we're going to work on is I can make predictions, and you know how to do this. Good readers predict all throughout while they're doing it, and then sometimes your predictions are right and sometimes they're wrong. But remember, you have to use the text to help you figure out a good prediction. So we've talked about this too. If you're reading Little Red Riding Hood, you aren't necessarily going to predict that they go swimming in a pool, right? That wouldn't necessarily go with the story for making a good prediction with it. So we are going to, I'm going to start with, Nellie Mae Has Her Say. So let's take a second for the cover. Nellie Mae Nimble lived in a tiny cottage in the Bottoms with her parents, 6 younger brothers and 6 younger sisters. There was never enough food to feed so many hungry mouths. Can you imagine what that would be like to have 6 younger brothers and 6 younger sisters? I am old enough to earn my board and keep, Nellie Mae told her parents, and I have heard that Lord Ignatius Pinkwinkle needs a new housekeeper and cook. So the next morning, Nellie Mae packed a bag with her few belongings, climbed the steep hill to the home of Lord Ignatius Pinkwinkle, and knocked on his door. Can you figure out what she's trying to do? What she's going to go do there? If she's trying to earn her room and board, she's going to go try to get a job. I thought you might wish to hire me, said Nellie Mae. I'm a grand cook and neat as a pin. If you work for me, said Lord Pinkwinkle, there are a few things you're going to have to learn. I'm good at learning things, sir, Nellie Mae assured him. Come inside then. I have special names for things and I expect you to use them whenever you speak to me. Certainly, sir, said Nellie Mae. First and foremost, you're not to call me sir. You are to address me as most excellent of all masters. Most excellent of all masters, repeated Nellie Mae. That's a fancy title, to be sure. Be certain to use it, said Lord Pinkwinkle. Now let us tour the premises. We'll begin upstairs. Here in my chamber, what is this? Oh, that's simple, said Nellie Mae proudly. It's your bed, which I expect I'll be making up for you. Not at all, said Lord Pinkwinkle. That is not a bed. It is my restful slumberific. Your restful slumberific? Asked Nellie Mae doubtfully. Well, I never heard of such as that. Well, now you have, said Lord Pinkwinkle. Interesting name for a bed. Next, tell me, what do you see here? Why, said Nellie Mae, I see your dirty trousers, which I suppose I'll be washing and pressing. No, 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 these are my long-legged limberjohns. Long-legged limberjohns, are they, said Nellie Mae. My, you could have fooled me. And these, asked Lord Pinkwinkle. Oh, those are your boots, if I may say so. You may not. And these are not boots. They are my stompin' whackers. Stompin' whackers indeed, murmured Nellie Mae. Lord Pinkwinkle is very interesting, I'd have to say. Now to the parlor, said Lord Pinkwinkle. What, pray tell, have we here? A fire burning in the fireplace? Nellie May asked hopefully. Of course not. It is a flaming pop and sizzle. A flaming pop and sizzle. Whatever was I thinking, said Nellie May. And what is this creature that has been following us around? Oh, that's nothing but a mangy old hound dog. Oh, certainly not. He is my fur-faced Fluffenbarker. Nellie May sighed. Your fur-faced Fluffenbarker. Why didn't I guess that? Oh, and this thing on the end of the fur-faced Fluffenbarker that goes back and forth and back and forth. For mercy's sake, it's his tail. Not at all. It's his wiggle-wagger. His wiggle-wagger? Oh, if you say so. I do, said Lord Pinkwinkle. Next is the kitchen. Do you know what this is? Well, most folks would call it a bucket or maybe a pail, ventured Nellie May, but there's no telling what you'll be calling it. I call it a wet scooperooty, and so must you. Oh, if I must, said Nellie May. And inside, what is this? Criminy, look what you've done. You've poured water all over the floor. It's not water, but river trickle, silly girl. It needs mopping up, no matter what you call it, grumbled Nellie May. You can do that in a moment. Now let's go outside, shall we? Tell me, what is this name? What is the name for this entire magnificent edifice? I would call it your house, but I'll lay odds that's not the right answer, muttered Nellie May. Indeed it is not. This is my roof-topped castle room. Roof-topped castle room. Whatever you say. I say it's high time for you to get to work. But let us not forget my special name for you. For me? Why, I thought I was to be the housekeeper and cook. No, no, that will never do. From here on, you'll be my fuzzy dust and fooder. To that, all Nellie May could say was, That afternoon, as she mopped the floor, cleaned the stairs, and cooked supper, Nellie May wondered what she had gotten herself into. But she was a good, smart girl, and she needed a job, so she practiced Lord Pinkwinkle's special names over and over until she knew them by heart. Oh, and it's a good thing she did, because that very night she was awakened from a sound sleep. She sniffed the air, then leaped from her bed and ran to the parlor, where something was terribly wrong. Now, we're going to practice our inference here. So listen to this. It says, and it's a good thing she did, because that very night she was awakened from a sound sleep. Okay, so something woke her up. Listen to what she did. She sniffed the air, then leaped from her bed and ran to the parlor. Can you guess what's happening in the parlor? What's awakened her? Think, what would she be sniffing the air? What could be happening there? That doesn't seem so good. Let's see. She dashed up the stairs to Lord Pinkwinkle's chamber, banged on the door, and shouted, Most excellent of all masters, get out of your restful slumberific and put on your long-legged limberjohns and stumpin' whackers. A spark of flamin' pop and sizzle got on the fur-faced Fluffenbarker's wigger-wagger, and if you don't get a wet scooperooty full of river trickle quickly, you'll lose your rooftop castle room and everything in it. And one more thing, most excellent of all masters, get yourself a new fuzzy dust and fooder, because I quit. Okay, let's look at this and see if we can figure out what's going on. So she goes in, she bangs on the door and shouts, Most excellent of all masters. Who's she talking to? Right, Lord Pinkwinkle. Get out of your restful slumberific. Do you remember what that was? His bed. And put on your long-legged limberjohns, pants, and your stompin' whackers, boots, a spark of flamin' pop and sizzle, the fire, got on the fur-faced Fluffenbarker's wigger wagger, the dog's tail. And if you don't get a wet scooperooty full of river trickle quickly, a pail with water, you'll lose your rooftop castle rum and everything in it. Your house will burn down. And one thing, most excellent of all masters, get yourself a new fuzzy dustin' fooder because I quit. Would you understand why Nellie Mae wants to quit at this point? Nellie Mae went out the door, down the hall, and back to the bottoms where she curled up in bed with her 6 little sisters. The next morning, to her great surprise, who should come knocking at the door but Lord Ignatius Pinkwinkle himself. Now I want you to predict here. What do you think is going to happen? Let's see if you're right. Good day to you, Miss Nellie Mae, he said. You saved my house and my dog, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. What's more, I like you. You're clever and quick. Might you be willing to return as my housekeeper and cook? I might, said Nellie Mae, but if I do, must I use your special names? Just one, said Lord Pinkwinkle. Can you take a guess what it's going to be? And what name is that? Asked Nellie Mae. Well, my dear old nursie used to call me Pinky, Lord Pinkwinkle said. Nellie Mae smiled. It would be my pleasure to work for you, Pinky. The end.